Hello, we're going to now complete the final exam review, and here we have problem number 36, and this problem gives me the slope. So the problem gives me the slope, which is -2. So that means I don't need to find the slope, but I need to use the second equation, y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. Let's go ahead and label our point here. This is going to be x1, y1. And let's plug it in the information. So y minus 4. Remember, negative comes from here, and 1 comes from, plug it in, -4. The slope is going to be -2. X minus x1 is 7. All we need to do now is get the y alone. So y, negative becomes a positive. Let's go ahead and multiply this guy. So this would be -2x plus 14. I'm going to move the 4 to the other side, so this would be y equals -2x plus 14 minus 4. Y equals -2x plus 10. Remember, once you get an equation, you can always use your calculator to verify if it's right or wrong. Okay, but first you need to build your table. Here's my point, 7, -4. Okay. And using the calculator then, we're going to enter the value -2x plus 10. Enter. Then we're going to go to our table. Let's go ahead and delete everything we have there. And we're going to enter the number 7. And if it is correct, if this is the correct answer, I should get the value -4 for y. And I do, so that means that tells me this is correct. Okay, if you notice, the next question is a little bit different than this one because this one provides me the multiple choices. So this one, I can skip all these calculations and just build my table. So this would be -12, 5. You go to the y column, the y button. Let's clear our equation there, and let's write 6x plus 3, 1 divided by 6, x plus 2, -6 x plus 3, and the last one, -1/6 x plus 3. Once I have all these three equations and to make sure that everything is correct, I can go to the table, second table. Let's go ahead and delete that table, and let's enter the new value, which is -12. Enter. And if you remember, the y1 represents the first multiple choice, y2 the second multiple choice, and if you notice, none of them give me 5. So let's try the third one. The third multiple choice gives me 75, and the last one is the one that I want, gives me 5. Okay. Also, in this problem, if you had paid attention, the problem says find the equation of the line given the slope of -1/6. So that means the equation should have a slope of -1/6, and if you look over here, the only one that has -1/6 will be the last one. So on this one, if you could also have just look at the slope and decided that this is the only possible one. Okay, but always remember, the calculator is there to help you and can be a very great resource for you. Okay. All right. Final exam, you're going to have some problems like this with geometry. So there's some concepts in geometry that you need to remember. If you see a triangle and the angles inside a triangle, you need to know the property that the angles inside a triangle add up to 180. So basically, I would take all three angles and I would add them up. Alright, once I set that up, let's combine like terms. So this would be 20x So 10 plus 6 is 16. 16 plus 4 is 20. So this would be 180. This would be 20x equals 180 minus 20. This would be 20x equals 160. We divide both sides by 20. And then 160 divided by 20. The zeros cancel, so 16 divided by 2 is 8. Okay. Sometimes on the final exam, they're only going to ask you to find the value of x, and sometimes they're going to ask you to find the angles of the triangle. And this particular problem is asking to find the missing angles. So let's give them a name. So let's say this is A. Let's say this is A, this is B, and this is C. Okay, so if I want to find the measure of angle A, I would copy this formula 5x plus 10, but instead of x, I'm going to replace with 8. So the measure of angle A, you do multiplication first, so it'll be 40 plus 10. And then the measure of angle A equals 50. That will be one of the angles. Okay? To find the other angle, let's say we find angle B. We're going to do the same process. We copy the formula 5x, but in 5x plus 4. But instead of x, we're going to replace it with the number 8 that we found for x. So this would be, let me move, there we go, so you can see it better. So it'll be 40 plus 4. The measure of angle B is 44. And the last angle is going to be angle C. The formula is 10x plus 6, but instead of x, we're going to put 8. And we're going to get 80 plus 6. The measure of angle C equals 86. So that is problem number 38. Remember, the sum of the angles inside of a triangle equals 180. Let's go on to problem number 39. 39 is a little bit different because this is a quadrilateral. So the difference between a quadrilateral and a triangle is, on a triangle, the sum of the angles is 180. On a quadrilateral, the sum of the angles equals 360. And also remember, this is a mathematical symbol that means 90 degrees, okay? So we don't have an angle missing here. We just need to remember that this is 90. So let's add these angles. So let's say 3x minus 20 plus 2x plus 60 plus 4x plus 5 plus 90 equals 360 degrees. Now we're going to combine like terms. So this would be 3 plus 2 is 5, plus 4 is 9x. Then we're going to combine these guys right here. So if I do negative 20 plus 60 plus 5 plus 90. Remember, you have a calculator there that can help you too. So let's press second quit. Let's enter that. Negative 20 plus 60 plus 5 plus 90. This will equal to 155. Is that correct? Oh, I made a mistake here. Let's enter again. Negative 20 plus 60 plus 5 plus 90. Enter. Alright, that's 135. Equals 360. To get the x alone, I'm going to move the 135 to the other side. And 360 minus 135 will be 225. I'm going to divide that by 9. Okay, remember you have a calculator there. You can do all these calculations on the calculator. So 225, and now we're going to divide that by 9. And calculator says that x equals 25. Now remember, on the test, sometimes they're going to ask you to find x, sometimes they're going to ask you to find an angle. Okay? In this particular problem, they ask us to find the angle. So let's give some names here. Let's call this angle A, angle B, angle C, and angle D. Okay? Alright, so the measure of angle A, we already know that it's 90. The measure of angle B, using the formula, will be 3 parentheses 25 minus 20. 3 times 25 is 75. The measure of angle B then will be 55. Let's go ahead and find the angle C. The formula is 2x plus 60, so 2 times 25 plus 60. 2 times 25 is 50. And then 50 plus 60 is 110. And now all we need to do is find the angle D. Alright, the formula is 4x plus 5. So it'll be 4 times 25 plus 5. 4 times 25 is 100 plus 5. Angle D equals 105. So that concludes our problem number 39. Okay, let's go on to problem number 40, which again is pretty much the same thing, is the angles inside a triangle. So angles inside a triangle, what do? We add them up and set it equal to 180. Okay. Please be careful here, because if you notice I wrote negative 3x plus 130, and here we're adding, but the first number here is a negative. Okay, so I'm taking this guy plus this guy, and positive and negative becomes a negative. Okay, so that's why I wrote a negative right there. Alright, so this would be negative 3x minus 2x is negative 5x, plus x will be negative 4x. Then I have 130 plus 70, which is 200, plus 20 is 220. So now we're going to move the 220 to the other side, so bring down the negative 4x. This would be 180 minus 220. So negative 220 plus 180 is negative 40. We're going to divide both sides by negative 4. X equals positive 10. With that information now, I can find the angle A. So angle A is going to be negative 3 times 10 plus 130. So the measure of angle A is negative 30 plus 130. So the measure of angle A equals 100 degrees. Okay, let's find angle B. The measure of angle B equals negative 2 times 10 plus 70. So angle B will be negative 20 plus 70. Angle B then is equals to 50. Alright, let's find angle C. The formula is x plus 20, so it will be 10 plus 20. The measure of angle C then is 30. Alright, very well. Alright, here we have problem number 41. This is to a geometry problem that talks about perimeter. Perimeter is 111. Perimeter means that we're going to add all the sides. So let's take all the sides. Actually, let me write it smaller. So it'd be 5x plus 2x plus 3 plus 7x minus 4 equals 111. Now we're going to combine like terms. So 5 plus 2 plus 7 is 14x. 3 minus 4 is negative 1 equals 111. The 1 is going to go to the other side. So this would be 14x equals 111 plus 1. 14x equals 112. We divide it by 14. And if you use the calculator, 112 divided by 14, it will equal to 8. And this particular problem asks us to find the value of x, so that means we're done. Okay? Next problem talks about perimeter, but it says the perimeter two figures below are equivalent. What is the perimeter of the rectangle? So basically the question is, what's the perimeter of this? But in order to do that, we need to find the value of x. They say that the perimeter of this rectangle is the same as the perimeter of this pentagon. So basically what I can do is say the perimeter of the rectangle equals the perimeter of the pentagon. How do I find the perimeter of the rectangle? Well, I add all the sides. So this would be 2x plus 3x plus 1 plus 2x plus 3x plus 1. Remember, there's 4 sides. And I'm going to add all the sides on the pentagon. So it'd be 2x plus 2 plus 2x plus 2 plus 1.5 plus 2x plus 1.5. So basically this side is the rectangle, this side is the pentagon. So let's add them together. Combine like terms. Remember, you combine in one side only. So this would be 10x. And here I have positive 1, so this would be positive 2. And then on the other side I have 2x plus 2x, 1.5, and 1.5. So 2 plus 2 is 4, plus another 2 is 6, 7.5, 9, 9x. This would be 2 plus 2 is 4. So all we need to do now is solve for x. So the 10x is going to stay, but this 2 is going to go to the other side. This 9x needs to move, so it becomes negative 9x, and the 4 comes down. So on this side I get 1x, and on the other side I get a 2. And basically the x is alone, so that's my answer for x equals 2. But remember, this problem does not ask for x. It asks for the perimeter of the rectangle. So the perimeter of the rectangle is 2x plus 3x plus 1 plus 2x plus 3x plus 1. So in other words, 2 plus 3 plus 2 plus 3, this will be 10x. And then we have plus 1 plus 1 is positive 2. And because we found the value of x to be 2, we can plug it in. And order of operation tells us to do multiplication first. So 10 times 2 is 22. Plus the 2 equal, 10 times 2 equals 20. Plus the 2 is 22. So that would be my perimeter. Alright, next question. Next question says, what is the length of one side of the square if the perimeter is 116. This question looks like you're going to have to solve an equation, but if you know the perimeter is 116 and this is a square, all the sides of a square is the same, so what you can do is 116 divided by 4, 116 divided by 4 equals 29. So basically, this one I don't really have to solve for x. All I have to do is remember that all the sides inside a square are the same. Okay, let me zoom in here so we can see better these problems. And this one we just have to solve the equation. So please remember, to solve equations, first thing is to get rid of the parentheses. When you get rid of the parentheses, you multiply. So this would be 10x minus 15. Bring down the negative 3, the negative 4. 2 times 14 is 28. Minus 6x minus 10. Next step is combine like terms. So be 10x minus 4x equals 6x. Negative 15, negative 3 is negative 18. And here I have 28 minus 10 is 18 minus 6x. Now let's move the numbers. The 6x is going to stay, but the 18 has to go to the other side, so become positive 18. This 18 has to stay there, so let's bring it down. And this negative 6 has to move, so it'll be positive 6. 6 plus 6 is 12x. 18 plus 18 is 36. We divide both sides by 12. X equals 36 divided by 12 is 3. And that's our answer. Alright, let's go on to the next problem. The next problem talks about complementary angles. Remember, the test could ask about complementary or supplementary. Complementary means 90 degrees. Whoops. Now remember that supplementary means 180. So please remember that. Complementary 90, supplementary 180. So basically this problem is saying that measure of angle A plus the measure of angle B equals 90. Alright, let's plug it in that information. The measure of angle A is x minus 10. The measure of angle B is 2x plus 40. And once I plug it in there, I have an equation that I can solve for x. So here I'm going to have x plus 2x is positive 3x. Negative 10 plus 40 is positive 30. And to solve for x, I'm going to move the 30 to the other side. So we're going to bring down the 3x. The 30 goes to the other side, becomes negative 30. The 90 comes down as positive 90. Let's combine like terms. Negative 30 plus 90 is 60. Divided by 3. X equals 20. So we found the value of x to be equals 20. In this particular problem, that's not enough. We need to find the measure of both angles. So let's find the measure of angle A, which is x minus 10. But instead of x, we're going to use the 20 that we found right there. And that means angle A equals 10 degrees. For angle B, I'm going to copy the equation. So this would be 2x plus 40. But instead of x, we're going to replace it with 20. Okay, so it would be plus 40. And this would be 2 times 20 is 40. Plus 40. The angle B, then it would be 80. Okay, very well. Let's go on to the next problem, problem number 46. Problem number 46 has to do with segments. And if you notice, we look at this diagram and we can establish a relationship, which is the distance of A to M plus the distance of M to C equals the long distance AC. So now we're just going to replace these with the expressions. AM, according to the drawing, is 14, plus MC, which is 3x minus 2, and AC, which is 4x plus 6. Alright, let's combine like terms. So this would be 12 plus 3x. And this side, there's nothing to combine, so let's just bring it down. Now it's time to start moving numbers around. The 12 does not have x, so let's go to the other side, negative 12. The 3x, we're just going to bring it down. The 4x is going to come over to the other side as negative 4x. And the 6 is going to come down. 3x minus 4x is negative 1x. Negative 12 plus 6 is negative 6. I'm going to divide by negative 1. X equals positive 6. Now be careful. We found an answer, but that's not the final answer. We're going to use this x equals 6 to find the real answer, which is AC. By looking at the diagram, AC has a formula of 4x plus 6. So we're going to replace the x with the value of x that we found, which is 6. Order of operation tells us to do the multiplication first, so we're going to get 24 plus 6. 24 plus 6 equals 30. Okay, very well. Let's keep going to the next problem. This will be the final problem of the review. Alright, the next problem, we're dealing with a midpoint. How do I know that? Because of these symbols. This symbol tells me that this segment equals this segment. So that's the relationship I want to use to set up my equation. UR is the same as RV. So UR is 20x minus 13 and RV is 10x plus 31. So with that, let's solve the equation. 21x stays, the 10x comes over as negative 10x, the 13 goes to the other side as positive 13, and the 31 just bring it down. Alright, then we're going to have 21x minus 10 is 11x. 13 plus 31 is going to be 44. I'm going to divide both sides by 11. X equals 4. Again, be careful. This is not the final answer. The final answer, we're going to find it by using this number 4. UR. Looking at the picture, UR has a formula of 21x minus 13. UR is 21 parentheses 4. How do we get the 4? From right here. So basically we're bringing it up and plugging it in. So we're going to have UR equals 42. Oops, not 42. 84. Here we go. 84 minus 13. And UR equals 71. So there we go. Alright, this concludes the whole review for the final exam for Algebra 1. Thank you very much for your time, and good luck.